everyone, this is Scott Dudley from Funnel Fella Radio, and today my special guest is Nathan Shearer, the founder of Funnel Fix-It in Perth, Australia, just up the road from me. And Funnel Fix-It specialises in fixing technical issues, setting up integrations and optimising sales funnels, and on top of that they also offer funnel builds as well. So welcome to the show, Nathan.
G'day, Scott. Good to see you.
Thanks, man. All right, so let's jump straight into it. Talk a little bit about your background originally and how you first got into marketing and funnels in particular.
Yeah, cool, man. So I've been in this game for a few years now. My background, I'm an IT nerd from way back. If I went through the list of jobs, you'd probably laugh. We'd be here for an hour and a half. But basically, I've done everything from running a pub to delivering pizzas. So when I started running my own business, I'd come from the IT corporate land. Got bored with the old boardroom meetings and stuff. So I started my own business doing technical stuff. I came across websites and doing website builds and that kind of stuff. I really enjoyed the coding side of things and that kind of stuff. That's where my background was anyway. I ended up starting my own business online. So I built a website, started selling some stuff. It was in the coffee niche of all things.
Oh, okay, interesting.
I really enjoyed it. It was successful straight away. So we went from 0 to sales in 7 days and then 0 to 6 figures in 6 months. And it turns out I really enjoyed the marketing side of it. So that's where the success came from, was actually the marketing of it. The website didn't do anything. It was able to take a sale. It was successful. The rest of it really comes down to marketing. It doesn't matter how pretty your website is. It doesn't matter what platform you build it on, whether it's a funnel, whether it's a WordPress, it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, are you marketing to the right people? Are you marketing the right stuff? Have you got what they want? And you're making it easy for them to get it. So that's the part that I fell in love with. Invariably, I came across a young guy. I don't know if you've heard of him, Russell Brunson, on a podcast.
Possibly.
I heard him on a podcast about advertising, about online advertising, and he just blew me away. I had to pull the car over literally and go, I think my mind's just been blown.
Okay.
All the things he was talking about. Invariably, he introduced the concept of funnels. This is way back in 2015 or something. Feels like eons ago now. Yeah. I thought that's exactly what my coffee business needs. Hang on a minute, that's exactly what everyone needs. So that was it. That was the end of the old me and in with the new funnel me. I obviously jumped into ClickFunnels, started working in there. I noticed straight away that if you're technical, this stuff is super easy. If you were slightly technical, you could reach out to support or read a document or something and get something sorted. If you weren't technical, it's not something you should need to learn. But at the same time, if you weren't technical, you were stuck with a broken funnel pretty much 99% of the time. So it was easy for me to help people in the group back way when we first started. The ClickFunnels Facebook group was at under 20,000 people or something. I think I remember hitting that milestone. I think it's 250,000 or something nuts now. But I used to help people out in there all the time because I had that technical background. So I saw a bit of a gap in the market that no one was actually supporting that. So I started a company called Funnel Fix-It, and we were doing unlimited task-based stuff for funnel hackers, for ClickFunnels guys, and supporting them there. Obviously, we're able to support outside of the ClickFunnels platform, but that's really where it started. So I was able to bring my technical background in my marketing nous into starting my own company in there.
Okay, cool. So if we go into a little bit more detail about Funnel Fix-It, so sort of what are the services that you offer there, and what sort of target market are you specifically aiming at for that?
Yeah, sure. So we've been in business there for I think we're coming up to 5 years now, supporting the funnel hacking community. There's hundreds and hundreds of clients. Everyone from I've just done the OFA challenge and saw you guys in the Rolodex, and I need some help getting all of these 25,000 things they've told me to do, and I have no idea how to do it. All the way up through to multi 2 Comma Club, 10X Club guys that are getting us to help them with technical stuff. So target market's fairly broad, but obviously we have and anyone that's using ClickFunnels and is not a technical person, then that's our target market. We're there for everything from, I just need you here in case something's broken, because invariably things get broken, or we do something wrong, or we don't know how to do this and we don't want to learn how to do it. So can you guys do it? Really low ticket sort of entry point, right through to, I need you guys here for launches and helping us do builds and all that sort of stuff. So, and that's been over time. We really started with a $100 offer, helping out a ton of people. But over time, clients have asked for more stuff. So can you do this? And can you do that? We've become pretty much the go-to for anything super technical. So if you want to customize something, or you want to make it do something it doesn't do out of the box, that's us. So.
Yeah, I noticed you've got some pretty impressive names on the website, like Lady Boss and that are clients. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah. So over the years, we've helped countless funnel hackers with custom integrations or custom builds or fixing up codes or bits and pieces on the page to make it look a certain way. Yeah, we've pretty much helped. If they're in the community, they've probably come across me at some point.
It's a good little niche too, because I mean, with ClickFunnels, there's a lot of things that it doesn't include natively, and if you want to do any sort of customization, then the support team's not able to help you with that. So I'm sure that sort of you've noticed that yourself as well.
Yeah, and I mean, I've spoken to the guys there as well. I mean, they're really happy that there's people like us out there supporting their platform and their network and making sure everything works. Obviously, they're there to support their own software. They're not really there to support ActiveCampaign or Zapier, and they'll point you in the right direction, but it's not really for them. Whereas every business owner out there, they might have a Zapier and they might have a Google Sheet where they need that thing to go to, and it's not doing what they need it to do, and it's not ClickFunnels' fault that doesn't do that. So they invariably need someone that understands the entire infrastructure. You know what I mean? So we help them with everything. And where I think a lot of support falls off is pointing someone in the direction, and maybe the language might be not the same, even on the receiving end. And showing someone a document, that's not what I meant. Whereas we stepped in and said, look, you guys send us a loom. We'll interpret what you mean by looking at what's on the screen. It doesn't matter what words you say. You send us a little video, tell us where you're stuck, what you need to try and get done. And if you say at the end of the video, hey, can you show me how to do this? We'll send you a loom back. And not only are we pointing you in the right direction of how to, we've actually gone and done it for you. So this is what we did. Here it is. We fixed it up for you. Next time, you just make sure you do this instead of that, and you'll all be good to go. Send. And it's a really, really hands-on approach, which you don't really get from support. You can't really expect that from a support entity.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to something that's not their platform.
Yeah. All right. So on top of the technical support, you also do funnel builds as well. Sort of what percentage of your business would make up funnel builds, and what percentage would make up technical help, sort of approximately?
Yeah, sure. So probably monetarily wise, revenue wise, it's probably 50-50, but obviously they're more expensive a build because we're actually doing a full project. There's a project management, there's design cycles, there might be launch phases for it as well. So it's a really, and obviously we're using our top tiers within the team. A larger build will have me involved, especially with the launch part of it as well. So we have a lot less clients in the funnel builds. We have a lot more clients in the support, in the servicing, in the task-based stuff to do the many hands, and the sort of virtual assistant style version of the tool, of the product. We have a lot of those clients that come from there. They test us out. Oh, you guys are great. Can you go and actually do a full build for me? Okay. We have had some interesting conversations with clients saying, so can you do builds under this structure? And obviously if we take the hour a day task-based service, it'll take you a little bit longer than you probably expect to get a build done. You could do it that way, but if you've got a few months up your sleeve, but obviously guys want the build this week. Can we get this built out this week? Sure thing. We'll do out a quick design lifecycle, build, launch, get ready to go, and integrate everything, and away you go.
Cool. Okay. So including yourself, how many team members do you have for both the build and the technical side of it?
So the agency currently has 11 staff. Okay. We flex a fair bit depending on how things are going. We've had a few instances where we've been white labeling us to other agencies as well. what usually happens in that instance, and I'm probably doing myself a disservice in saying this, is we help them set up their processes and then they hire internal staff and finish with us, which is fine. That makes commercial sense, but obviously they've got no experience in setting up this type of environment and setup and support and frameworks and all that sort of stuff that we do. So that's usually par for the course. We end up doing that for a period of time, and then they hire people internal so they can have them under the same office roof and all that sort of stuff.
Fair enough. Okay. So does that also include traffic and optimization as well, or is it just funnel builds?
Funnel builds and that kind of stuff. We have, at the moment, we've got 2 clients. I just do all my own marketing side of things as well, and traffic and conversion, that kind of stuff. I have a few business partners that we do that kind of thing. We don't advertise that because we don't necessarily take people on. If I've had a client for 3 or 4 years, I know their business back to front, and they want to move forward with traffic, that's usually the kind of clients we'll say yes to. If someone comes cold and there's a lot of education that has to happen, so I prefer to build that trust over time with them, so that we know that we can execute for them, and they're going to be happy as well.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so sticking to the build topic, tell us about one of your most successful marketing campaigns and why you believed it performed so well.
So I've had a few. We've had a few good ones. We've obviously had our own flops, which I don't think you can call yourself an agency if you haven't gone, this is going to be the greatest thing ever. You flick it on, it does nothing. So you need to have a few of those under your belt. But I think the most probably the most interesting one is, I wouldn't call it the biggest. We've had some $300,000 on a few $1,000 spend kind of returns on a few events and stuff like that. If I went through that, it would just sound like a blueprint from the internet. But the interesting ones are the ones where you're kind of going after, as long as you're going after a market, it's where it doesn't really matter about the revenue or the average order value, that kind of, it's not really about the numbers. It comes down to, well, how did that work? how when I did this, it did that. And I think one of the most interesting ones was we did for my e-commerce business. So we were doing coffee and stuff like that. We had a platform. The platform doesn't exist anymore, but I'll tell you the story for for understanding I guess the framework behind it. The platform was doing automated ads. It's no longer around, but there are other platforms out there for this, and we've started utilizing them, and they have very similar results. So we had an Instagram ad running for the coffee business.
Right.
And I never really did much with it. It was back early in the days. Actually, it was before Instagram ads were called Facebook ads. They were called their own thing. They were still rolled underneath the Facebook banner, but they weren't called their own thing. We had a campaign when I went back and did the stats on it. The platform that was doing the ads for us, the automated robot sort of style ads, went bust, so they weren't around anymore. So I had to go in and sort of pull all the data, and I was like, well, maybe I can recreate these ads. And there's other platforms out there that you can do this sort of stuff. The stats on the ad were, we were getting purchases for around 5 to 15 cents a purchase.
Purchases, gee.
Now, average order value was about $60. So that was a really, really good campaign. And we just set it and forgot it.
Oh my God.
Now, there are a bunch of other platforms like that. That really lit a fire under me to like, where can we leverage? You're probably familiar with a guy called Gary V. One moment, I'll just close the door.
Yep.
We got raided a little bit earlier than I expected. When we, you've probably heard of a guy called Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yes.
He always talks about leverage or underpriced attention is a way that he puts it as well. Where can we find platforms that have this kind of leverageable or underpriced, I guess, cost per acquisition style thing? If you go to Facebook right now, you're competing with every other Facebook marketer out there. It's really, really hard to get traction. The costs are skyrocketing. We've seen 60, 70% increase in cost per click over the last 12 months. It's getting pretty nuts out there. But what about the other platforms? Where are the other platforms as far as their cost goes? So there's a there's several platforms. There's a platform called Rollworks. Now it's a rehash of an existing platform that's been out there for a while. But once you set these ads up, they're quite hard to set up. They're a little bit creative. It's a little bit nuanced in the way that the UI works, but the spend's really cheap, and your branding is getting out there. And we've had a funnel fix it ad running since I discovered this whole, there's little advertising platforms kind of everywhere, and you can, once you set them up, this one sends us out across, I think it's like 12 different ad networks, and it's been running now for 4 years or something like that. We literally spend a couple of bucks a day, and like we're constantly getting, I saw you here and I saw you there. So this is a branding play. Now, if I went and run my cost to acquire and my conversion stats on that, it's probably break even. That's still good, still really, really good. But it's that branding piece. It's the fact that people are seeing us all the time. They're retargeting ads. They're pushing branding ads. They're going out kind of everywhere. They're being seen everywhere. They're being seen on marketing blogs where people have got little snippets and things like that. Random spots, just all over the place. I see it all the time. My clients see us all the time, and we're just keeping top of mind. And I'm paying pennies for it. So it just makes perfect sense to have that kind of stuff happening.
Yeah, well, I mean, the impressions are pretty cheap if nobody's clicking on them. And like you're saying, people are just seeing you everywhere. So it makes good sense, yeah.
Exactly. If I ran the numbers on cost per click per acquisition, lifetime value, that kind of stuff, it wouldn't make any sense. But I'm anecdotally getting this back from nearly every client saying, I saw you guys for ages and I finally went and purchased. Now, they didn't click through the ad to get it, but they saw the ad everywhere. They see me all the time. I saw you in those random places. I see you guys all the time. Top of mind.
Yeah, so sometimes it might even take like 12 touches before they actually end up purchasing from you, but they've seen you that many times that they can't ignore it anymore. Exactly. Yeah. All right. So what are your favorite online tools and platforms that you use to run your business?
Well, ClickFunnels, obviously. I'm definitely a ClickFunnels aficionado. I'm a fanboy. I'm part of the dev team, doing some stuff for them as well. Friends with a whole bunch of the guys over there. Love the platform. Been to the last 3 funnel hacking lives. Not sure if we're going to be able to do events anymore in the next 10 years with what's going on at the moment. Not sure when you're listening to this, but I love ClickFunnels. I came from WordPress, so ClickFunnels was just a game changer. Like, WordPress is hard. I'm a technical guy, and WordPress is hard to get into the nuts and bolts to make it do exactly what you want. Otherwise, you can go paying fortune for themes, and then you can't change it. But ClickFunnels really nailed it. So if you're coming from a WordPress world, ClickFunnels is amazing. There's a bunch of other new platforms that have come along. I always tell this story when I'm talking to people about which platforms to use. Hey, so you guys have been around forever. You've seen everything. What's the best platform to use? What do you want to do? Generally, the answer to that is going to be ClickFunnels. People come and they, we've had clients, and what I tell them is, over the years, people will shiny object. Oh, look at this one now. Oh, look at that one now. They'll come from they'll go to ClickFunnels. Oh, we want to migrate everything over to this new shiny object because I bought a lifetime, blah, blah, blah. And a month later, they're ringing me saying, can you help us migrate back? Because that was crap. This didn't work. That didn't work. Doesn't integrate with this. It costs too much. They slung this from the price for us and all that sort of stuff. So we've had a lot of people move over from ClickFunnels to something else, and then they end up coming back. Anecdotally, we've had a few clients that have gone to HighLevel, which supports agencies, and those guys don't necessarily come back. And talked to a bunch of those. I've found out why. The things that does out of the box for an agency, it's more of a support one-to-many type relationship. It's definitely really, really amazing. But when it comes to your run-of-the-mill funnels, if you're running your own business, if you're doing launches and campaigns, you want a website, that sort of stuff, ClickFunnels is the go.
So is HighLevel like a WordPress plugin, is it? I've heard of it a couple of times, but I've never actually seen it.
I'd put it in the same boat as one of those all-in-one platforms, and that's going to scare a lot of people who've gone, oh, no, none of those. It's up there with ClickFunnels as far as the funnel building type of thing, but it just has a few things that an agency would want. So the ability to house your clients in their own locations underneath. So it's got like a parent-child relationship model, whereas ClickFunnels kind of frowns against doing that. They don't want you to
Yeah.
have your clients underneath. And that makes sense. That makes sense from like every platform out there is don't abuse our platform. One user, one person. That makes perfect sense.
It's against their terms of service.
Exactly.
Sorry, go on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense, and I think that's pretty fair. Whereas HighLevel's built for agencies, they've completely broken away from that model, and they're specifically like that.
Yeah, well, that's a good idea, a good example of niching down, isn't it? So if you're an agency, yeah, maybe check that out. All right. So what are some of the biggest and most common mistakes that you see clients making?
Choosing to go with another platform before we'll really get into I think where a lot of people go wrong is they want to move too fast. And love him. Russell does promote moving fast and breaking things, as Zuckerberg once said as well. Things aren't going to go as fast as you want them to unless you've got a huge team and some great processes behind you. So I always try and tell people, if you want this to happen tomorrow, you would need to have done it several times in a day already to be able to say, yeah, that's definitely doable tomorrow. Things do take longer than you probably expect. There's an onus back on the person who wants it done to make sure that they're explaining it well enough, they've got the processes in place to make it happen, and feedback and review cycles and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I would the number one thing I see is people want to move too fast, but then their expectation is that it does move that fast. It's okay to have the oomph and the drive. If you're not doing it and you're able to get other people and sort of move them along, off you go, guys, come on, how's it going? Where are we up to? What can we do next? How can I get things out of your way? That's good enough. But sending it over and saying, I want this done, coming back 2 weeks later and saying, where is it? You said it'd be 2 weeks. And so, well, we asked you this and we asked you that, and you didn't do this, and what's this part here? And we missed all that bit. So yeah, that process is part of it. Really helps speed things up.
Okay, that's probably a good segue into the next question. What's your biggest challenge that you consistently have to face while running your agency?
Communication. We're really big on processes, on documentation, on automation as well. So the way we've got our systems set up, we help other people set systems up like that as well. We started this call, we talked about Loom. Loom is a fantastic tool. I can't believe it took them years, this long to get it sort of happening. But the fact that you can hit a button, speak out the problem, like get it out on, like it's hard to get things out in words. It's hard to describe something in an email. It is really hard. And in this day and age, more so recently, everyone's working online. Everyone's doing stuff from home or from their part-time offices or remotely, that kind of stuff. It's more and more prevalent to be able to communicate effectively, to be able to get what's in your head, what you need out and over to someone else so that they can consume that and actually action that for you is super important.
Absolutely agree. All right. So with an eye to the future, what are you curious about or researching right now regarding digital marketing?
I think the big thing for me is we have focused the last 8-12 months on software. Software is a really big thing for me. We built some Chrome extensions. We've done some platforms. We've done some software as a service stuff for people. We've built it for our own good. We've done some stuff. We built some SaaS around HighLevel as well. That's a really big focus for us. So where my head's at for, I guess, research and learning is how to effectively market software. There's so much software out there. It's ridiculous. Like, why would you sell software? Everything's already been done. Well, that's absolutely false. It's categorically false. If you can solve a problem with software and it hasn't been solved before, if you're talking to your clients and they keep saying we need to fix this problem. People aren't sending us documentation soon enough. We're unable to get these images off people. We need a faster way to do this. You can generally solve it with software, and if you can, I mean, you've got an extremely lucrative business model if you can solve that especially for a niche. So niching down, we've talked about that already on the call. If you can niche down to something, you've got a pile of people over here, 10, 15 people that need this one problem solved, and you're able to communicate with them. There's your minimum viable product. That's what I would go after.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen a few of your Chrome extensions online. Do you sort of use those for lead generation, or what's the main purpose for other than solving problems for yourselves? What else can you use them for?
Yeah, definitely. It's though you're very beholden to the other platforms. So we recently built a mobile app, an iPhone app, an Android app for a client. They're in the marketing space. There's a few of them out there. They were using it as a differentiator for what they do, and that's what that was their main thing. But you're beholden to those platforms. So we had issues with Apple saying, "Oh, there's something like this out there already." Well, that's exactly what they're trying to differentiate. That it's not the same at all. These other people have copied you, and Apple saying, "Yeah, but it's just too much alike. We don't want too many things that are alike." But we were before them.
Oh man.
So you're beholden to those platforms. So it's really hard. Those platforms don't want you to take an email address. So they were using it as lead gen and differentiation. Lead gen was sign up here and we'll let you access the app. No, you can't do that. Huh? No, you need to give them a login inside of here, or we need to get password resets. Okay, now you can ask them for their email address. Are you serious? So it's really hard to utilize these platforms. Obviously, the Chrome store, bazillions of traffic every single day.
Yeah.
It would be great to have a little opt-in box. Nope, not allowed to do that because you're siphoning off people from their platforms. Now you can create an extension, and that extension has history in it or bonuses and things like that. Absolutely, you can then ask them for email addresses. So that's definitely worked out really well for us. We've got a bunch of clients from those. It wasn't the original plan. The original plan was to solve problems and make it easy for them.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be a standalone thing, but invariably it's turned into a nice little lead gen tool.
Perfect. Okay. All right. So who are your biggest marketing idols or the biggest influences on your career?
So I need to make a plug for another Aussie. I think the best marketer of our time was Dan Norris. A lot of people haven't heard of him. He wrote The 7-Day Startup. It's a fantastic book. He started a company called WP Curve. So it's a WP for WordPress ultimate support service. So unlimited tasks for WordPress for, I think it was $69 a month when he first launched it. He launched it 0 to sales in 7 days. And then I think he went 0 to 7 figures in 6 months or something ridiculous. So he really, really nailed it. He wrote a book about that and then obviously explained that story. And that was kind of the precipice for me starting my business and doing exactly the same thing. He went on to sell that business to GoDaddy. He's launched a beer company. He's taken that to tremendous heights. He's now in every bottle shop in Australia. He really, really has nailed it. And he's just awesome. He's an Aussie guy. It's hard to listen to. I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, but it's hard to listen to Americans all the time about how to do marketing when a lot of the tactics or strategies, if you want to put it that way, aren't going to work on us. They're not going to work here locally. We don't like listening or being forced that way or coerced that way or, the next biggest thing is the greatest thing. We don't care, mate. Just just tell us what it is, how good it is and how much it is and give us a discount. We're all good to go. So he gets that and he markets that way. And he's just absolutely nailing it.
Okay, perfect. So just to wrap up, where can people go to find out more about your services and or products?
Yeah, cool. Just funnelfixit.com. Nice and easy.
Perfect. All right. Excellent. Thanks a lot for your time today, Nathan. Really appreciate the insights that you've shared with us. And yeah, we'll catch up with you soon. Thanks, mate.
Cheers, Scott. Talk soon.
All right. Bye.